Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Cinderella phenomenon. And we are in Waltz's route in chapter 7. Yes, chapter 7. And we just realized that Varg is Fritz. Anyway, so that's where we left off at the last part. Cliffhanger. Anyway, Fritz? Varg wags his finger at me, his smile crooked. Maybe I look like him, but you can't seriously think we're the same person, can you? I clutch Waltz's shirt between my fingers as I stare. Everything begins to feel hazy once again. What's going on? Spacey. Spacey! I hear my father before I see him. When I turn, he's limping toward us with a pained expression on his face. I can only assume that he somehow made it out of his cell or that someone helped him out. Waltz's arm is still there to support me as I walk toward my father. Father reaches out to touch both of my cheeks. His warmth makes me flinch. You're cold. I'll be fine. Father clenches his fist and turns to Mithros. It's over now, Mithros. Not quite. A bright light suddenly surrounds the tenebrarum, and the whole room is engulfed in white. I knew that bitch was coming back. God damn it. I should have killed you a long time ago, dear Gennaro. It's like really annoying. Like my hot water heater makes so much fucking noise. It's like it's kind of fucked up. Like it's weird. Anyway. Ugh. Father! I'm unable to see what's happened, but as soon as the light disappears, I see what horror has happened before me. I scream when I spot the large gash in my father's chest. Blood pours from a wound from a blade of light. I catch my father in my arms as he stumbles back. Waltz quickly comes to stand beside me to help support him. Father! Now this kingdom is mine once again. The voice is familiar, but distantly so. It's a voice from my memories. I look up and suddenly there she is. My mother stands before me, beautiful and regal. Her eyes are cold, lacking any kind of love as she looks over me. Spacey! Welcome back, my queen. Mithros, who has somehow managed to escape from Parfait, is now down on one knee before Mother. Hildeer! Hello, dear Faye. It's been a while. Parfait puts a hand to her chest as she begins to cough. She collapses to her knees. You've grown weaker since we last fought. Lady Parfait! Mother's eyes snap to Waltz and narrow. I see that the traitor is here too. I also see that you've managed to reunite with my daughter. Mother flicks her wrists as she casts a spell. You pay for what you did to me. Sorry, bird. Step back! Parfait quickly steps in front of us, and an invisible barrier appears just as Mother conjures a series of sharp ice projectiles. They bounce harmlessly off the shield, but I can feel the rumble in the ground as they tumble down to the floor. Parfait! Parfait is still kneeling on the ground. Now I can see blood on her lips. Spacey. I look down at my father. His shirt is soaked with blood, but his eyes are still barely open. Okay, this is just traumatizing. Like, is everyone gonna die? Father! I feel tears brimming in my eyes. The room fills with light, this time emanating from the floor. Slowly our surroundings begin to blur. Go then. Run away, Parfait. That's all you've ever done. Parfait's voice is pressed and pained as she speaks. We'll stop you, Hildeer. The last thing I see is Mother's wicked smile. Then the light swallows us whole. When the light fades, we're back in the Marchen. Parfait is still on the ground, though now she seems like she might sink into it. Lady Parfait! I'll be fine. Just call Rumple, quickly. Waltz darts from the room immediately. Father, please hold on. My father's clothes are now dyed a thick crimson that stains my hands and dress. Moments later, Waltz returns with Rumple. He rushes over to the king the moment he sees him. Rumple tears my father's shirt open, revealing a deep wound on his chest. He quickly looks over his body, then attempts to apply pressure to the wound, but the bleeding doesn't stop. Oh, God. Oh, man. That's sad. We finally reunite with our dad. He's gonna die. Fuck, man. He's lost too much blood. Can't you do something? I'll do my best. But there's only so much I can do, Princess. I can't perform miracles. There's a faraway look in his eyes as he says this, an almost pained expression on his face. His helpless expression makes the panic surge in me again. You call yourself a doctor? Spacey, calm down. I can't lose him, Waltz. I don't have much time left, Spacey. I turn to look down at my father, my eyes filling with tears. No, no, no! Don't say that, Father! I wanted to see you become queen, but it seems that this is the end for me. I collapse beside Father and he reaches up a shaking hand to touch my wet cheek. Protect our kingdom. I can only nod at him. I'll always be with you. I love you, Spacey, and I'm proud that you're my daughter. At least he remembers us. Father smiles at me, and it's so genuine and warm that it brings fresh tears to my eyes, like they could have totally killed him, and he's like, I have no idea who you are. Fucking A-game! His eyes slowly close, but the smile never leaves his lips. Father? I shake him, but he doesn't react. No! No! I lean over my father, willing him to come back, to open his eyes, but he's no longer breathing. For the first time in my life, I cry for my father. It's so sad. Ever since my father's death, I've locked myself in my room. I'm filled with constant grief and pain, but have become numb on the inside. Even when I want to cry, the tears won't come. Spacey, I brought you something to eat. I'm in no mood to eat. Walt sets the tray down and walks toward me. The blankets crumple as he sits down beside me. Oh, God, just hold me, Walt. Slowly, he wraps his arms around me and strokes my hair. That's exactly, thank you. What happened wasn't your fault, Spacey. He did what any father would do for his daughter. He didn't deserve to die the way that he did. By my mother's hand. I know. I curl my fingers into Waltz's shirt. I don't want to lose anyone anymore, Waltz. Waltz continues stroking my hair. It'll be fine. I promise. For now, you need to rest, Spacey. I'll be here by your side until you fall asleep. That's so adorable. He plants a kiss on my forehead, and I close my eyes, relishing his warmth. Walt's hold is firm but comfortable, and I sink into his arms as I fall into a dreamless sleep. Days later, the palace announces father's death. It isn't long before Alcester is given his crown. That's not right. I'm the princess, goddammit. The announcement of his ascension comes with an explanation of the king's death. The palace paints me as a criminal, telling the townsfolk that I was the one who killed the king. Fucking cocksucking pricks. Assholes. I'm labeled a fugitive, and the royal family is officially declared missing. We've all been in hiding together since then, the royal family included. Now it's been 2 weeks since Father died. The longer time moves on, the more aware I become of one gaping realization. Mother's not yet shown herself to the public. What could she be plotting? I place my hand over my heart, willing the pain away. Every time I think of Mother, I remember the sword of light that went through my father's body. Enough time has passed. Even though I'm suffering losses, I can't stand idle. I have a promise to fulfill. I will protect our kingdom. I'm about to go back to my room when Parfait calls me. Dolores stands beside her. Spacey, can we talk with you? I look away, avoiding their eyes. What is it that you want to discuss with me? It's about the Tenebrarum. Despite Hildir's revival, it appears that the crystal's light is still dim. And that can only mean one thing. Hildir is still weak. Still weak. Hildir was absorbing all of your powers when we found you. We interrupted the process. The crystal was not able to absorb all of the magic you now possess. That's why she's still weak. Also, there was something else that bothered me about the crystal. Something odd. Odd? A bearer has a very strong bond with their crystal. A mutual relationship of sorts. But that bond was absent when she returned. What are you saying? It seems as if the crystal is forsaking their bond. What? It seems even the crystal knows that Hildir's time has come and gone. Princess, the crystal has already chosen you as its next bearer. It's a small blessing, but it doesn't change the fact that Hildir is still the strongest witch. At least, that's what she wants us to think. Parfait and Delora exchange a glance. The crystal has chosen its next bearer, and you've just as much potential, if not even more. Delora turns to me, her usually lax expression more solemn. Are you ready to learn magic, Spacey? Magic that you'll potentially use to defeat your mother? I've never used magic before in my life. I've never been raised as a witch, and using magic to defeat Mother? I don't know. Well, regardless of what decision you make, we'll be here to support you. Delora and I want you to know that. How is it that they're still willing to help me when I was the one that caused this whole mess? I need some fresh air. I begin to walk toward the door when I see Ophelia walk in from the tavern. Our eyes briefly meet and she opens her mouth to say something, then stops when I shake my head. I don't want to hear her blame me for my father's death. Certainly that must be what she's thinking. Ophelia frowns but doesn't speak. I quicken my pace, almost running as I head into the forest. She wasn't going to. Ophelia's too nice for that shit. The night is silent and calm, and the only sound I can hear is the gentle sway of the grass as I step through it. Mother is back because of me. If I hadn't revived her, Father would still be alive. How am I supposed to face everyone knowing that? Walt has been trying to cheer me up. While I appreciate his company and concerns, even he can't help me come to terms with my mistakes. I hear footsteps behind me. I turn to see Waltz approaching with a frown on his face. Spacey, please, I'm not in the mood to listen to your reassurances again. I don't need you to tell me again that this wasn't my fault. Spacey, your father wouldn't want to see you like this. How would you know what my father wanted? I snap at him without meaning to, not bothering to hide the irritation in my voice. He'd want you to walk forward, not linger on a past that can't be changed. You've been distancing yourself from us since the king passed. Don't think that I haven't noticed. Why is that? Because this is the only way I can keep them safe. You know that I'll always be by your side, Spacey. Shouldering the burden will only worsen your pain. Worsen? I already know the pain of losing someone that I love. I've brought nothing but suffering to those around me. I can't get close to anyone again, lest I put them in danger. I've already lost my father, and I don't want to lose anyone else. Especially not you, Waltz. Waltz's eyes widen as he stares at me. I want to show you something. Oh, yeah? Isn't that what they all say? I'm just kidding. Keep your eyes open, Spacey. You can't miss it. Again, Jesus. Will! Walt snaps his fingers and golden orbs of light suddenly spring to life around us. Oh, so pretty. I can only marvel at the orbs of light floating around us. They look like stars dancing through the night. It's beautiful. You can't truly appreciate how bright a star is without darkness. Walt snaps his fingers again and most of the lights go out. During difficult times, the light grows dimmer. He snaps again until only one light remains. When you're all alone, it grows even dimmer still. There are things that you can't do on your own, otherwise you risk snuffing your own light out. Another snap and the golden orbs return, this time in great numbers. The lights are brighter than they were before. You're not alone, Spacey. I love you, and it hurts to see you suffer alone like this. My heart is pounding so hard I fear it might escape my chest. In this moment, it feels as if time has stopped, and it's just the two of us. All I can see is Waltz. As I stand here staring at him, I come to a realization. I love him. When did this happen? After a few moments, I realize that it doesn't matter. I stand on the tips of my toes so that I can cup Waltz's face in my hands. Guys. I move before I can think, leaning over to place a light kiss on his lips. Aww. He's all shocked. Aww. I feel an arm around me as Waltz pulls me closer. The kiss becomes more heated and I feel a gentle flame stirring in my stomach even as my mind becomes foggy. I feel his tongue on my lips, but when I part them, he's suddenly drawn away, his face deep red. Sorry. I needed to catch my breath. I feel the heat in my cheeks enough to fight back my embarrassment. I just kissed Waltz. I look up at Waltz, who's suddenly realizing how close he is to me. I quickly bury my face into his chest to hide my embarrassment. Waltz's chest rises and falls with his gentle laughter. You're so cute. I close my eyes, allowing his warmth to envelop me like a blanket. I love you, my little star. That's so adorable. He even has a nickname for us, guys. It's not just your battle anymore, Spacey. You don't have to carry this burden alone. So please, trust in me. Trust in us. I'm overwhelmed, but Waltz's words make me feel strangely light, as if a weight has truly been lifted from my shoulders. I will. Thank you. We should go back now, or else everyone might get worried. Waltz places a soft kiss on my forehead and smiles at me as he pulls away. He extends a hand toward me. Let's go, my little star. I smile as I slowly take his hand. And he's been calling us that. He's only a few years older than us, but so adorable. He's been calling us that since we were kids. It's adorable. We walk back to the marchand hand in hand, momentarily forgetting about all the bad things that have transpired. Hope. It's been almost 3 weeks since my mother's revival, and yet I've not heard or seen anything of her. What are you planning to do, Mother? Parfait told me before that the Tenenbaum had already chosen me as its next bearer. Does that have anything to do with my mother is still in hiding? It's impossible not to feel the weight of my new responsibility. I've not yet fully accepted that I'm now the bearer, but I can't run from this responsibility for long. The Tenenbaum bearer's duty is to work alongside Parfait to balance the light and darkness of the kingdom. That balance had only just begun mending before Mother's sudden revival. For nights I've been wondering if there's some other way to stop Mother without fighting her. A small part of me hopes that perhaps Mother can still change. I think about that and then remember how Mother so heartlessly killed Father as soon as she'd been revived. She was sleeping for 4 years, but that did not change her mind. Even now I can only assume that she still means to make this kingdom suffer. It feels as if my heart is twisting itself into a knot. I gasp when a bright spark fizzles to life in my hands. I clench and unclench my hands, taking deep breaths to calm myself. Ever since I started trying to work with magic, it's been activating on its own. Whenever I feel any sort of deep emotion, some type of electricity sparks in my hands. It's all I can do to try and keep my emotions in check. The last thing I want is to accidentally burn down the Marchen or hurt anyone inside of it. Can you imagine? Delora and Waltz have both agreed to start teaching me how to use my magic. For the last few days, the forest near the Marchen has served as the training grounds. Parfait constantly cloaks the Marchen in powerful magic to keep our presence hidden from Mother and the other witches. It allows us to use our magic without worrying about being tracked. Even though they already know where the Marchen is, but okay. Still, Parfait's constant spell has considerably weakened her. Delora and Waltz tried to convince her not to cast it in the first place, but Parfait insisted that we remain as close to the Tenenbaum as possible, rather than move somewhere safer. She told us that I need to be close to the Tenenbaum as its bearer. As far as we all know, the crystal is still unmoved in the palace. I know that the chance I will face Mother in a battle of magic is extremely high. Although I fear the outcome, I have no choice but to consider the possibility. Time is running out, and I don't have the luxury of waiting much longer. I must decide what I must do. They all believe that I'm the only one who can stand up to Mother, even with so little practice. Last night I told Parfait that I would make my decision the next day, and that I'd tell everyone what I had decided. Now's the time for that decision. When I step into the reception room, everyone is already there waiting for me. I catch Waltz's eyes first. He cocks his head ever so slightly, his lips stretching into a warm smile. I nod at him and smile back. I take a deep breath before facing everyone. This is the first time I've spoken properly with everyone since my father's death. Before I tell you of my decision, I want to apologize for everything that I've done and for everything that's happened. Mother is back because I was a coward, and Father died because I was weak. Spacey, Ophelia is the first to respond. It wasn't your fault, dear. I stare down at the ground with my hands clenched. I try to will my anger away, but only manage a few deep, stilling breaths before I look up again. I brought Mother back because I feared that disobedience would have them kill my father. Yet in the end, he was still... hope that's you making that noise, Bird. The image of Father's smiling face flashes through my mind. I clear my throat. I promised him that I would protect Angeal, and that's what I intend to do. I'll do everything I can to protect our kingdom. Spoken like a true queen. The words are shocking, even more so when they come out of Dolores' mouth. Queen? Why do you seem surprised, Princess? You know you're next in line for the throne. I hadn't even thought about being the next ruler. I'm not even sure I have the right qualities. Can I really do this? I wanted to see you become queen. Protect our kingdom. I can't let Father down. I have to do this for his sake, but the kingdom comes before the crown. I'll only take the crown if I can win it back. I'm still weak, but that'll not stop me from training every day until we face Mother. I hope I'm not asking for too much, but I hope you'll all fight with me to protect our kingdom together. You didn't even need to ask us that, Spacey. It goes without saying that we'll help you in any way that we can.
I second that. We'll all be here for you.
I smile at everyone gathered. So this is what it feels to be trusted and needed. It feels so good. It'll be hard, but we will stop Mother. Together, we might stand a chance against her. Hildyr is strong, but not invulnerable. Parfait looks at me, eyebrows furrowed.
You know what we must do to stop Hildyr, Princess?
I feel a tinge of pain in my chest, but force my eyes to hold Parfait's gaze. I look into Parfait's eyes with determination. I do. Later that same day, I resume my training with Waltz while Parfait and Delora try to come up with a plan. Jurian and Garland return to the town to listen for any information regarding Mother and Alcester, or any happenings in the palace. I force myself to focus only on learning how to use my magic as fast as I can. Today, Waltz is continuing his lesson on barriers. He's been teaching me the same spells for the past week, emphasizing my protection. Let's review the type of barriers I've been trying to teach you. Do you remember them? One shields you from harm, while other deflects the spell back at the caster. Powerful spells cannot be deflected. And that's why you need to be able to tell which spells can be reflected and which cannot. Otherwise, you'll end up using the wrong barrier. A single mistake can cost you your life. So how do I know what barrier I must use? Allow me to demonstrate. You see me cast my spells many times, so you should be able to tell the difference between them. But for now, let's think of it as another game. Just take a guess. Who knows? You might actually give me the right answer. I'll give you a nice little treat if you do. That sounds dirty, and I love it. A treat? He always did like treating me in town. Oh, that's not where he's going to treat you. He's not going to be in this house. He's going to be upstairs. And never mind. We can only hope. No, I don't want to have to read that. But, let's just imagine. It's special this time. I wonder if this is just like those other sweets he treated me to before. Oh my God, you're dumb. It's not a candy apple. It's a... Not even going to say it. We know what it is. I'm going to guess it's in his pants. That's what he's going to treat you to. So you should get this right, girl. Girl, get it right. Get some of that action over there. Spacey should not play these games. Oh my God, Bird, what are you doing? Why are you biting me? Walt snaps his fingers and a glimmering but faint purple light appears around him. It's faded at first, but slowly becomes brighter as he moves his hands. Usually the effects of Waltz's magic are immediate, but this spell is taking longer to cast. Is it stronger magic? I remember Waltz telling me before that it takes a lot of energy to cast a strong barrier. Does that apply to offensive spells as well? Question time. What kind of barrier should you use? A shield. The slow casting time makes this seem like a powerful spell, and powerful spells cannot be deflected. Surely this is the right answer. Is that your final answer? My confidence is thwarted by sudden indecision. Spacey, in the midst of battle, you won't have the luxury of time to think about your decision. I look at him and nod. It should be the right answer. That's correct. Now prepare your shield. I've never shielded myself from a powerful spell. What if my barrier breaks? Trust in yourself, Spacey. I do as instructed and stretch out my hands to cast a barrier to shield myself. Here I go. My hands shake as Waltz's spell collides with my barrier. I plant my feet to hold myself upright. Such a strong spell. When the light dissipates, I look up hesitantly, before smiling triumphantly when I see that my barrier is still in one piece. I did it! Well done, little star. I eye the barrier again. My heart sinks when I notice new cracks in its surface. My barrier. Don't fret, Spacey. Even the strongest barrier will obtain cracks after being hit by a powerful spell. And that's when you set up your next barrier. Your opponent will usually make the mistake of assuming you have the same shield up and attack you with a weaker spell to try to break it. You can be ready for them with a new barrier. I nod. I'm impressed at how fast a learner you are. I have a good teacher. I think you're just a good student. So, when will you teach me offensive spells? I don't think you need to learn those quite yet. The witches we're up against will probably stick to offensive, which means protecting yourself will be even more vital than trying to attack them. I told everyone that I would fight, and I meant it. If I need to hurt someone to save someone, I'll do it. I look him in the eyes, my gaze unwavering. I still need to learn, even if it's just one offensive spell, Waltz. What if I need to help you? I can't do that just by conjuring barriers. I'll not lose anyone else this time, Waltz. I look up at Waltz and my heart aches at the sight of his frown. I don't want to lose you either. That's why I need to be as strong as possible. I want to be able to protect you. Waltz makes his way over to me in just a few strides and pulls me into his arms. Adorable. I'll do what I can to save you from a repeat of what happened last time, Spacey. But you won't lose me. Yeah, well, in the bad path we will, but Waltz pulls back and looks at me, his expression warm and gentle. Here's your treat, as promised. Huh? I told you. Oh. Waltz bends down to place his lips over mine in a soft kiss. Not what I was expecting, but still accept. No, I mean, obviously I honestly figured that's what he was going to. I'll give you a treat. He's going to give us a kiss. He's not going to give us a roll in the hay. But, a girl can hope. Kiss works. The better we get, the more we get out of him. It's like strip spells. Did I do good? All right, take your shirt off. Spacey has issues. We know this. It's a short-lived kiss, but it's still enough to make me breathless. You're all red, Spacey. That was your special treat? Disappointed? I quickly pressed my cheek to his chest to keep him from seeing my tinted cheeks. No. Let's call it a day. You need to rest. Teach me an offensive spell first. Spacey, we've been practicing since morning and it'll be dark soon. You already know that overusing your magic will take a toll on your body, especially when you're still getting accustomed to it. I shake my head at Waltz, determined. Using my magic before did wear me out, but now I can handle more. What kind of bearer would I be if I couldn't handle this much? Please, I'm begging you, Waltz. Stare at him and bat your eyes. And then lean very, really, 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 really close like you're going to kiss him. And be, please. Gotta tempt him. Just say. He eventually sighs and rubs the back of his neck. Okay, but just one spell. Thank you. Yay! Giggles, claps, and runs away, and he's like, fucking A, what did I just get myself into? He steps away from me. What I will teach you is a lightning spell. It's not for the faint-hearted. It'll inflict excruciating pain on your enemies and also potentially paralyze them. I nod as Waltz continues his explanation. Though I try my best to conjure the electricity, I've only managed sparks at the end of the day. I collapse onto my bed. I can feel the exhaustion lying over me like a blanket. So she's not going to be able to do it. She's going to do it at the last second. Like, Mother's going to be, like, ready to kill Waltz, and she's going to be like, ah! She's going to electrocute the bitch, and then Waltz will be fine. Like, that's just, I'm predicting. She'll, I can barely move my arms after trying the lightning spell over and over again. I need to learn that spell as soon as possible. I yawn and then close my eyes. Sleep comes easy that night. Spacey, that voice. Come back to me, my sweet princess. No! You have no choice in this, little one. You'll come back to me whether you like it or not. I'll be waiting for you. I sit up in my bed, my heart pounding loudly in my chest and in my ears. A dream? I wipe unexpected beads of sweat from my forehead as I calm myself with steady breaths. No, I'll never go back to you, Mother. We will technically go back in order to defeat her, but It's not really going back, it's just going to where she is. I end up waking up later than usual as a result of my practice from yesterday. When I step inside the reception room, I see Jurian and Garland speaking with Parfait, Delore, and Waltz. There's a definite solemnity to the air. They all turn to look at me as I approach. Did something happen? Princess, the palace made an announcement today. They're issuing a higher bounty on your head for murder and treason. What? It was very strange. What with the fact that they haven't even bothered to look for you since that day. Something must have happened that forced them to suddenly act. Dolores soon gathers everyone in the room to discuss Jurian and Garland's discovery. The only one who's not there is Anise, who's in town buying ingredients for the Martian meals.
But Spacey didn't kill anyone. Isn't there some way to convince them?
Alcestar's in power now, and the people favor him. Now that everyone remembers who I am, they're once again frightened of me. No one would listen to you.
They haven't seen how much you've changed. If only they could understand your circumstances, then they might be more sympathetic.
I look at Emmeline in surprise and find myself smiling at her. Thank you for your kind words. I turn to everyone once again and frown. Once again, I'm the one putting everyone in danger. I'm so sorry. If any one of them gets hurt, I'll never forgive myself. Waltz takes my hand and squeezes it. The simple gesture does wonders to calm my nerves. Don't be too hard on yourself, Spacey. We've told you already. We want to help you. We're in this together.
He's right. I'm not sure if there's much Rod, Emmeline, or I could do, but we'll definitely support you until the end.
Before I might have cringed at her words, but now Ophelia has nothing to gain from pretending.
Mother is right. We're a family, and we'll not abandon you.
Ophelia and Emmeline are both smiling at me warmly. Even Rod seems to have a ghost of a smile on his face. Thank you. I apologize for bringing this up, Karma, but is it possible to ask for reinforcements from Brigantia? Brigantia? Brigantia is one of our neighboring kingdoms. We've never had close ties, mostly because Brigantia's king tends to stay away from our personal and political affairs. They've always refused to engage in any sort of violent affairs. We all look at Karma, who stands there looking sullen. He's like, they don't even know that I'm here. They think the princess lost. What am I going to do? Just roll up into town? Do it, Karma. Do it for me. After a few moments, he lets out an exasperated sigh. You want me to ask the kingdom of Brigantia for help? I remember Karma mentioning before that he was part of a noble family, but I didn't expect him to be from Brigantia. I know it's like probably Brigantia, but whatever. What is he doing here? And how can he possibly ask for help from a king? The king doesn't participate in battles or skirmishes. It seems unlikely that he would provide support. He wouldn't provide assistance, not even if his own son asked him. Son? You mean... Karma crosses his arms and sighs. Well, I suppose there's no use hiding it anymore. Yes, I'm the son of King Clemente of Brigantia. Judging from the sudden quiet in the room, it seems that Parfait, Delore, Waltz, and the knights were the only ones that knew. You are the lost prince. The lost prince? Gennaro told me that King Clemente's oldest son had disappeared just a year ago. There were circumstances. She's like, you're wearing a dress. Those are the circumstances. My family never knew I had the fairy tale curse. I was forced to leave my kingdom so that I could come here to break my curse. He came to Angeal to break his curse? His eyes wander slowly to me, but then he focuses once more on the conversation. To answer your question, though, no, I don't believe my father would send help. He hasn't heard from me since I left a year ago, and he would most likely think me some kind of imposter unless I show up at the kingdom's doorstep. And if you show up in a dress, even then you'd have too many questions and we would never get the help we're seeking in time. Seems we can't rely on them for help then. We all turn to stare at Anise. The fine lady Anise has suddenly appeared at the Marchen. What magic is this?
I actually just came back. I'm sorry for startling you all, but I found this, and I had to bring it back.
Her smile fades as she pulls out a flyer for us to see. An announcement. From the look of it, 4 days from now, Alcestar will make a speech about the changes that are to happen in Angeal. Changes? That doesn't sound very promising. I can't remember all their voices are all just like flying out of my head. I don't know. It means bad news, but it may be worthwhile to take a look. This might give us some insight into what's happening at the palace.
Hildur is still in hiding, but it seems very likely she could be involved in all of this somehow. They could be plotting something special for that day.
Garland and I can go to the event then. We'll make sure not to stand out. I'm coming too. Spacey, I need to know what's happening. I can't hide forever, Waltz. I'll go, and I don't need anyone's permission to do so. Well, I guess you're technically the next queen after all.
Delora, don't encourage her.
We both know how stubborn she is. She won't stay put even if we command her to. Delora looks at me and winks. Parfait lets out a heavy sigh.
Walt and Karma will accompany her then.
Waltz nods. Karma looks somewhat startled, but eventually nods as well. So until that day comes, we all need to prepare for the worst case scenario. Waltz. I've been practicing my magic non-stop since the day we heard Alcester's speech. I continue to work on my barriers while also continuously attempting the one offensive spell Waltz tried to teach me. Okay, remember what I told you. Focus your energy on the tips of your fingers until you feel the current flow through your veins. Okay. Good. Now try to cast the spell at me again. I stretch out my hand and imagine the energy gathering at my fingertips. I see sparks as I begin to cast the spell. Good. Keep going. At the end of my casting time, I can feel the lightning snaking up and down my arms. Now release it. I direct the spell at Waltz with as much strength as I can muster, but it barely touches his barrier before it fades away. I groan. You're getting there, Spacey. The magic is weak, but it might still be able to paralyze someone for a time, so as long as you hit them when they don't have the barrier up. But the speech is tomorrow. I'll not be able to master it by then. You don't need to. Let's not assume things will be so bad. Waltz, have you been here before? Let me ask you something, Waltz. How many of these paths have we played? Like, all of them. I'm going to just answer for you, because whatever. And how many of them have always, when something could go wrong, did it go wrong? Every time. There you go. I answered for you. I know, I'm sorry, but it's just, you just don't think you've been in these paths before, and we've done this, and every time it goes wrong. Everything that could possibly go wrong goes wrong. And then it goes right at the end. But I'm just saying, they're going to catch us. They're going to blah, blah, blah. And we're going to end up in the castle, and that's it. Because we're also at the end of chapter 8. And we have one more chapter, and then the, ending. So, I'm just saying, that's what's going to happen. Anyway. We're only going there to watch a speech. That's all it is. You won't need your magic. The two of us continue to diligently work, but after a few more rounds, my arms are sore and my mind is foggy. Walt calls it a day, and the two of us retire to our rooms for the night. I've tossed and turned on my bed for what feels like an hour, but sleep still will not come. It's been almost a month since I last went into town, and it's impossible not to imagine the worst possible scenario for tomorrow. I'll probably be awake until the sun rises. I turn to glance at the doll that Waltz gave me so long ago. She sits on my table, her glassy eyes staring back at me. I wonder if he's already asleep. Maybe he can help me calm my nerves. I got a good idea. I can comfort. Knock, knock, knock. Hey, Waltz. Waltz. There's only silence. Maybe he's already asleep. I'm about to leave when the door suddenly opens. Why is he sleeping in the lobby? Spacey. Hello, Waltz. Let me guess. Couldn't sleep? I nod. Come in then. Oh, yeah, we'll be able to sleep in his room. All curled up in a ball. Just hold me while I sleep, especially because my mom's coming to me and she's going to lure me away. You have to protect me. I sit on his bed and look around. My eyes shift to his table where I notice a pile of sewing materials and an assortment of puppets. You've been working on your puppets? Yeah, I couldn't sleep either. It's been a while since I last did a show, but I want to make sure my puppets and materials are ready to go once this is all over. I'm sure the children are looking forward to seeing your shows again. Yeah. And then you're like, but isn't it going to be weird that the kids we haven't seen you in months, and why are you 10 years older than you were the last time you were here? You got tall and old. Silence ensues as Walt sits down beside me with one of his puppets. He begins to slowly sew at one of the seams. The silence is deafening. He looks busy, but maybe I should say something. Will you say something? I'm worried about what may happen tomorrow. You think too much, Spacey. I do. I stare at the puppets on his table. When this is over, will you finally let me be your assistant? Walt smiles and pats my head. Yes, when this is all over, I'll give you the spotlight. I'm sure the children will love your puppet shows. Talking about what happens afterwards makes me feel normal. It gives me some hope. Could you just imagine, though, she's going to be the fucking queen when this is all over? And then she's going to, like, go and be the queen who does puppet shows. That's fucking great. I love that. Like, I'm the queen who does puppet shows for the town. That's amazing. Good job, queen. Hope that eventually everything will go back to normal. I feel better now. Thank you, Waltz. Oh, I'm not sure I even did anything. You have just by being here with me. You know I'd do anything for you, little star. Little star. There's that nickname again. Does it bother you? No, I was just wondering where it came from. Oh, right. I never told you the story, did I? Back when I was still your mother's apprentice, my life was dull and empty. And then you showed up. Your circumstances were the same as mine, but your light never faded. You became my hope in that dark place, my light. That's why I consider you my little star. I can only stare at Walt as Walt smiles at me. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. It's so fucking beautiful. That's so adorable. I want to squeeze him and just shake him and be like, why? You're so fucking cute. Right now, all I want is to stay by his side, to stay with the comforts of his warmth. I look at him and a thought shifts into my head, tinting my cheeks pink. What is it? Can I stay with you tonight? He's like, no, yes. What? Well, Walt's face is tomato red. He looks shocked. I can't? It's not that I don't want you to, but I might. I mean, that's so fuck you. He's like, I might not be able to resist touching you. I'm okay with that. That's why I'm fucking here, buddy. Man up. Let's go. I did good with my spells, right? Give me a treat. Oh, Spacey is so fucking wrong. I just ruin everything, don't I? You can't take me anywhere. He glances away and begins mumbling to himself. I suddenly feel dejected. Don't make that face, little star. Walt sighs. Okay, you can stay. Really? Yeah. Ah, ah! That's so adorable. He's just like holding her, and he's like, the look on his face is like, oh my god, this is so difficult. It's like, you have to just stay a little bit further away from me, otherwise you're gonna feel some things that you shouldn't yet. Both lay side by side in the bed, shifting only slightly. Walt's is especially stiff. I wonder why, because he wants you. He wants to do inappropriate things. I loop my arms around his waist and snuggle into the crook of his neck. Waltz tenses beneath me. I feel like I'm being punished. What? Nothing. Thank you for letting me stay. He's being punished because he wants to do so much more than just lay there. My room felt colder than normal tonight. I couldn't help thinking about tomorrow and about father, and my words trail off as I try to focus on Waltz's warmth. Please don't leave me as well, Waltz. Spacey, look at me. I move back to look up at him. Waltz stares at me with an intensity that makes it difficult to look away. His features are illuminated by the soft moonlight, making them stand out all the more. My heart skips a beat. I'm not going anywhere, Spacey. I'll always be wherever you are. I promise to always protect you. I reach out to touch his cheek. Thank you. He smiles at me before putting his arm around my waist and pulling me closer. I snuggle against his chest, taking in his warmth. I eventually fall asleep in his arms. So fucking cute. I bet he didn't any sleep. He was like, oh, God. Today's the day. Everyone has been busy preparing for the speech. I was told to relax, and I've used the opportunity to move into the forest and get some fresh air. If only everywhere were as peaceful as this. Spacey. I turn around to see Ophelia slowly walking toward me, a hesitant smile on her face. Ophelia, I'm sorry that I can't be much of much help during these distressing times. You've already helped me enough, Ophelia. You supported Father when I did not. You have to stay safe. You and the others. You've truly changed. Ophelia takes my hands in hers and looks at me solemnly. Promise me you'll come back to us. I'll be praying that nothing happens today, but if it does, I beseech you to put your safety first. Ophelia, I may not be your real mother, but you've always been my daughter. Oh, fucking A, man. Guilt floods through me. I've been cruel to her ever since she first came into our lives, and yet she still treats me so warmly. I don't deserve your kindness after all I've done to you, Emmeline, and Rod. I am so sorry. Ophelia pulls me into a hug and smooths down my hair. That's all in the past now, dear. What matters now is the present. I nod and close my eyes. I missed out on so many things when I closed my heart up to everyone. I had always thought I was alone, but I was wrong. Thank you, Ophelia. Sir Alcester's speech starts in an hour, and everyone is making last-minute preparations before we go into town. Ophelia, Emmeline, and Anise will stay behind as Rod and Rumple volunteered to watch over them. Delora and Parfait left yesterday to attend a meeting with the fairies. Apparently they found someone who holds important information about Mother and her plans. Emmeline approaches me, her eyebrows creased.
Spacey, should you see your mother there, what will you do?
I haven't really thought about it yet. We're bound to face her sometime soon. I know that she's your mother, Princess, but are you emotionally ready to face her? I'm taken aback by your question. Jurian, I apologize for being blunt, but we all have to consider the worst possible scenario, don't we? I need to know that the princess is ready to face her. In a battlefield, one must not hesitate. Jurian continues to look at me, waiting for my answer. I finally face her with determination. I'll face her, and I will stop her. The Queen. Ooh, guys! This is the last chapter. I stand in an alleyway with Waltz, Jurian, and Karma, making sure to stay hidden in shadows as we watch the sea of people moving towards the plaza. I mean, it's not really the last chapter, you know what I mean? Like, it's the last chapter before we get our end chapter. But our end chapter, we know we're going to get the good ending, and then we go back and we'll do the bad ending. But Garland is scouting around the plaza for knights' positions, and we have been waiting here for him. There's so many people. Okay, this is where we split up. Remember that we're trying to avoid needless battle. If anything should happen, fleeing is the better option. I'm not a fool. I'd not pick a fight that would put anyone in needless danger. I'm glad you understand. Remember, we're only here to watch and listen. I don't want us to get into a skirmish if we can avoid it. So should anything go wrong, we need you to retreat, Princess. I understand. I will not. I would not leave you all behind. Spacey, this isn't the time to be stubborn. It's not about stubbornness. It's just that all I've ever done is run. I refuse to keep fleeing. I've people to protect, and I'll not let them down. Running away isn't always cowardice. That may be, but sometimes there are situations that you need to face head on. This is one of those situations. Please understand, Waltz. I just don't want you to get hurt, Spacey. I know. I look at Waltz, feeling at a loss. No matter what I say, he'll always insist on my safety first. That's going to make him a good king. He's going to protect his queen. Isn't that beautiful? Yay! Ah. Garland suddenly appears with a stiff frown. Look who I found. I turn to look at Garland and then notice the man beside him. My eyes widen at the sight of him. Fritz? Garland pushes him and Fritz stumbles forward. He falls to his knees only a few inches away from me. You're okay. Thank goodness you're all right, Princess. I twitch at the sight of his face. There's no sign of the wicked smile that was on his face when he was under the guise of Varg. Though he looks confused, the relief in his eyes seems genuine. Are you truly Fritz? Yeah. Fritz. My lips didn't want to work when I was saying that. Are you truly Fritz? Or are you Varg? Or both? I'm the Fritz you've always known, Princess. Your loyal knight. I raise an eyebrow. I can still remember what happened weeks ago, when the mask fell from his face in the room with the Tenebrarum. In that moment I saw Fritz's face, no matter what Varg said. Varg was in league with Alcester and Mithros. The man I saw back then was definitely Fritz, even if he never confirmed it. What are you doing here? Fritz flinches. I've been searching for you. Why? So you can take me back to Mithros? Or are you here to kill me? Fritz bows low, his clenched hands trembling at his sides. I will not surrender you to Sir Mithros. My loyalty has always been to the kingdom and to you. I could never hurt you, princess. I don't blame you for doubting me. My father... I would have stopped him if I knew. Fritz glances up at me slowly, his expression resolute. I just escaped yesterday when I was captured by knights. I managed to escape from them today, but only barely. I was supposed to meet the Lucius Bear yesterday. Fritz glares not at me, but through me, as if remembering something unpleasant. That was when I was able to take control of my body again just a few days ago. I've been searching for you, but instead found some witches who seemed to be in league with the Lucius Bearer. I requested an audience with her as soon as possible, because I wasn't sure how long I could keep Varg at bay. At bay? Fritz, explain. About Varg? No, about this audience. Princess, this can all be some elaborate ruse of his. I've a responsibility to at least hear him out. What do you want from Parfait? I have important information about Hildir. Mother. Lady Parfait did say that her and Delora were going to meet with someone who had information on Hildir. And you believe that their meeting was with this man? Karma turns to Fritz, clearly skeptical. That seems like it could be coincidence. How are we to believe you? Fritz is silent for a few moments. After some time he speaks again, more hesitantly. I know that apologizing won't change the fact that I've betrayed the princess and the kingdom. But right now I'm doing my best to right my wrongs while I still have control over my body. The knights are still searching for me as we speak, so I'll make this as brief as I can. Hildir is growing weaker. What? I haven't been myself for the past few weeks, but I still have portions of Varg's memories. I remember that she's bedridden, still being treated for wounds that she sustained during the Great War. Then she's now sick like Parfait, only Mother seems to have it worse than her. I have heard Mithra say that the crystal no longer recognizes her as its sole bearer. Parfait said something similar, but she said she could no longer feel Mother's connection with the Tenebrarum. But what Fritz just said, it seems that the crystals has seen both of you as bearers. It's stretching its energy to both of you. This might be why Hildir hasn't regained her full powers and has remained weak. Walt stares at Fritz, eyes wide. The crystal having two bearers. I didn't think such a thing was possible. Is this why Hildir still refuses to show herself in public? Yes, the witches who used to be on her side doubt her capability to rule. None of them want to help her when she's still so weak. Mithros figures the only way to get the crystal to fully accept Hildir is to drain the rest of your powers. That's why the palace has issued a higher bounty on your head. Father is no longer interested in actively hunting for you. There's been a rift between him and Mithros because of this. Waltz crosses his arm, his expression thoughtful. I'm surprised Hildir hasn't disposed of Alcester yet. If he's still alive, it means that he must still play an important role in her plans. Fritz's expression quickly morphs into something grim as he frowns down at the ground. You're right. Walt and I exchange a look before we turn back to Fritz. Mithros plans to kill my father today. Fritz's eyes are distant, his mouth pulled into a tight grimace. All I can do is stare at him, uncertain of what he's just told me. It's like, your father had you cursed on purpose, though, to be Varg. So I know you feel bad about this, but your father's a dick and he should have died, not mine. Just saying. Hildir will show herself to the public today. She and Mithros will plan to kill father in front of an audience in hopes that their fear and disrespect will fuel the Tenebrarum. Oh, and despair. Fuel and despair. Will fuel the Tenebrarum. They think fueling the Tenebrarum might make Hildir stronger. They plan to use the fear of the public to achieve their own ends. This is not good. With this many people here, the Tenebrarum might indeed see that surge of power again. Even a weakened Hildir will be difficult to fight, but we stand more of a chance against her now than we do if she fuels the Tenebrarum with negativity. Please save the kingdom, Princess. Fritz looks at me imploringly. I shake my head slowly. I'm confused. You betrayed us, but then you're still helping us as well. Which side are you on? The only reason why I'm working for them in the first place is because of my curse. I swear it. Fritz tries to stand up, but his knees wobble and suddenly he's down on the ground again, his hand clutching at his chest. Fritz? No, not... Yet, Fritz looks at me, his pale face covered in sweat. I have no idea how long I can suffocate Varg, so please, bind me, freeze me, do whatever you can to keep me from chasing after you. I don't want to hurt anyone anymore. Fritz keels over, his forehead touching the ground. Please. Waltz! I know.
His magic is purple.
Love it. Walt snaps his fingers and a rope of light appears around Fritz's wrists, pulling him down to the ground. I furrow my eyebrows at Fritz even as he cocks his head to look at me. Thank you. You don't have much time left. I plan to deliver my message to the Lucius Bearer, but I leave it in your capable hands instead. Fritz, I am sorry. I'll do anything to protect my charge. Now go. Tyrion nods at me. Don't worry, Carlin and I will keep an eye on him. Carlin quickly informs us of the knights' positions around the plaza and gives us clues about where we might hide to avoid their prying eyes. After he's finished with his briefing, Waltz, Karma, and I hurry off. Father, please watch over us today. Okay. I know that we normally go a little bit longer than this, but this seems a good place to stop. Because I don't know if this part's going to be long or if it's going to be quick. So, you know what I mean? Like it could be a quick little scene when we get in the palace, or it could be a long one. So I'm just going to stop it here before we get too far in, and we'll continue in the next part. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.